Hi friends, how are you today? Do I ever have exciting news for you? Today, we're going to do something special together. I know we usually read a story or maybe sing some songs. Today, we're going to do a fun activity. We're going to make magic mud. Some people call it oobleck, or magic mud, or other things I haven't even heard about. But when I was a little girl and we used to make this in school, we called it magic mud. So that's what I'm going to call it today with you. Let's get right to work. First thing we're going to do is look at the things that we need. So I have a big pile of stuff here that we're going to need for this activity today. Are you ready? First and foremost, we need cornstarch. It's that fluffy, soft white stuff. In here, take a look. Cornstarch. We're going to use a lot of that. You need a container or a bowl or anything to make your magic mud in. I got a clear container here so you'll be able to see me working it together, mixing it and everything. And this container, now this is a good idea, parents, pro tip, has a lid. So when I'm done making my magic mud, all I have to do is pop the lid on and then I can put it in the fridge and save it for later and use it later. Now I also have a spoon for mixing. And a big spoon. I'm not going to need that one today. And I have a cup for scooping out my cornstarch here. We'll get right in there. Scoop, scoop. And I have some water because we're going to mix water in there. I have food coloring. Very exciting, so we can make it any color that we want. And I have a bowl of water right here next to me. Oh, there's a little bit of water in there. And this is in, just in case, while I'm making this, if the phone rings or something happens where I really quickly have to wash my hands, just dipping them in the cornstarch, in the water and rubbing away the cornstarch works really quickly. So that's just kind of my backup in case I need to wash real fast to do something in the middle of making the magic mud. So we all know little people often have to go to the bathroom and stuff, or maybe you need a snack, so you can just go in the bowl. Okay, that's what that's for. All right, now some people like to use a recipe when they make oobleck or magic mud, and I am not one of those people. I'm going to show you how to do it without a recipe so that you don't have to remember anything or you don't have to look at a piece of paper. You can just go for it. So first thing we're going to do is get our bowl or our container or whatever it is that you're going to make your magic mud in and put that in front of you. And then you want to take your cornstarch. Now this is a pretty messy activity, so I'd expect to get cornstarch everywhere and to get water all over the place and food coloring. So I'd suggest that you do it in a spot where it doesn't matter if you make a big mess. And that's why I'm right here at my big table, because I can make a huge mess here and it's okay. So I'm going to dip into here. I got a 1 cup measuring cup, but you can use anything to scoop. You might, even if you don't want to scoop, you don't have to, you can just dump. But if you do just dump the cornstarch, a lot will fly into the air. Oh, look at that! My scoop's not big enough. Maybe I do need this big spoon after all. So I'm just going to scoop in a bunch of cornstarch into my bowl there. Can you see that? A bunch. Just going to keep scooping it in. Oh, look at that. It looks like a mountain or a glacier, an iceberg or something. Okay, I'm going to get another big scoop. So the trick with this stuff is, the more cornstarch you have, the more magic mud you're going to have. That's it. So if you want to make a lot, use a lot. If you want to make a little, use a little. So I scooped in 4 big heaping wooden spoons of cornstarch. Now, I'm going to take my water and slowly add the water a little bit at a time while I mix. So here's my water, and here's my mixing spoon ready to go. I'm going to take a little bit of water and stir. That's not enough. Take a little bit more water. Stir a little bit more. A little bit more. The trick is to just add the water a little bit at a time. Now, if you have ever made icing, like for a cake, and you've used icing sugar with milk or water or vanilla or another liquid, you'll know that cornstarch and icing sugar feel really similar. If you touch them, they feel the same. And just like with icing, you add the milk just a little bit at a time. Same with magic mud, just a little bit of liquid at a time. Try some more. A little bit more. Yep, just 1 spoon at a time. And then mix. There's no hurry. I don't know about you, but I got all day to mix this cornstarch and water. Oh, keep mixing. And you can see I'm going to tilt my bowl so you can get a good look at it. What's happening now is it's starting to form big clumps like a big rock. So we're getting there. It's still not good enough. We need more. It's still dry. We'll just keep going. A little more water. Now I'll tell you the reason. Another reason that I don't use a recipe is because if you use too much water with magic mud, it's very, very easy to correct your mistake. You just add more cornstarch. Okay. Oh, it's starting to come together. You can tell when your magic mud is ready because it starts to look wet, even though it's dry. Almost there. Let me keep going. And don't worry, I will show you exactly what it looks like when there's just enough water in there, so there's no wondering on your part. Now, I'm going to tilt this a little bit so that you can see. Ooh, the sun's shining on me now. Now, see in my bowl here? Oh, it's not all dry. We're starting to get some drips, but I still have some dry rocks like this. So that tells me I need to mix a little bit more. I'm going to keep mixing. Oh, but it's hard to mix now. It's getting harder to mix. This is the point where, if you don't have to put your fingers on a computer like I do, where you can get in there and just use your hands to start mixing. That's when it starts to get fun. Now, do you know what melted cheese looks like? Have you ever seen melted cheese? You know your magic mud is ready when it starts to look like melted cheese. So, I'm almost done. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to abandon the spoon and I'm going to start using my fingers too, because it's very close to ready and I can show you what ready looks like. Okay. Okay, now, watch this. See? Ooh, it moves like melted cheese. I can pick up a big chunk and it feels dry in my hands, but then if I stop moving, it just drips through. It just drips right through. Now I'll show you how you can tell that you have just the right amount of water. That sun's really shining on me. Now I can make it into a ball in my hand, and then I can squeeze it and it will crumble. Look at that. Can you believe it? See how it crumbles in my hands like that? Just like a powder. So if you can grab a big ball and squeeze it and it crumbles, and then if you let go and stop moving, it turns into that stuff that looks and feels like ooey gooey melted cheese. You have it just right. Now, if it doesn't really crumble, that means you probably need a little bit more cornstarch. You probably have too much water. And if it doesn't get gooey and make melted cheese like this, then you probably need a little bit more cornstarch. Okay, now, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something on the table that we haven't used yet. Now, another way that you can tell that your magic mud, that sounds really yummy now. Another way you can tell that your magic mud is ready to go is because you can kind of just crumble it on your hands like this. See? And get the crumbly bits off. I'm going to close my blind right here so that you can see my work. And then we're going to use that last ingredient that we have on the table. There we go. Now you can see me again. Nope. Now I don't know if anyone guessed what we didn't use yet. The food coloring. Now I have a lot of colors in here. Let's dump them and see. Looks like I've got 2 blues, probably only need 1 of those. I got a yellow and a red and a green. Now my favorite color is teal, a blue-green color, so that's the color I'm gonna make. Now, I kept the food coloring for last for a special reason, because if you add the food coloring at the end, you get to mix it all in with your hands and you can see the colors swirl around and it's quite magical and fun. So, here we go. Almost looks like pancake batter, doesn't it? Or like waffle batter. Another way that you can tell that your magic mud or your oobleck is just perfect is if you stick your hand on the top like that and just touch it with your fingers, it actually doesn't stick to your fingers. Even though it looks like it's liquid, it's solid. It's cool science. Okay, let's get this food coloring in there. I'm going to start with the green. Now again with the food coloring, I don't have a recipe. I like to just add in whatever I want to and see what happens. It's a fun way to explore and experiment. Okay, I'm going to start with maybe 3 drops of green. Ready? 1, and I'm going to put them all over. 2, 3. Then I'm going to get some blue. Ooh, it's crumbling all over. Okay, I'm going to go maybe, I'm going to go 4 drops of blue because I want the color to be really rich and dark. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, there's all my drops in there. Now, if mums and dads or grown-ups, if you're concerned about somebody getting food coloring all over their hands, you can get a spoon and stuff in there and mix a little bit for this part first to get those drops mixed in a little. But I'm not concerned about coloring my hands, so I'm just going to get right in there. I kind of have to crumble it to mix it. And watch this. Oh, you can see the colors just drip down. It looks almost like toothpaste on this side. Just get in there. And the colors can mix in while you play. So I'm just going to play with this for a minute, and we're going to see what color I get. Ooh. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but my table is starting to get covered in magic mud, which is okay with me. Sometimes in order to have fun, you got to make a big old mess. See, look at that. It's just mixing in. Mixing. I can tell I need a little bit more blue. Now, one fun thing to do when you're making this stuff and putting your colors in is to experiment with different colors and finding out what color you get when you combine them. I'm finding out what color I get when I mix green and blue. But maybe you want to try for another color. And I'll give you a hint. If you mix lots and lots of all the colors together, which I've done many times in my years of making magic mud, it will just turn gray. You'll just get gray stuff. Spoiler alert. Okay, now I'm going to keep mixing for a minute. And then we'll take a look at what color I got, and then we'll probably say goodbye. And then you can have time to play with your magic mud. Oh, yeah. Okay, I made a lot today. I'll have to put this aside and give it to Esme, my girl Esme, to play with. Okay, ready? I'm going to lift up a big chunk, and we're going to see if I got my teal color that I wanted. You can kind of see a little bit in the bowl. Okay, ready? Let's take a look. What do you think? Did I get my teal color? Not really. It's more just a nice pastel blue color, like a robin's egg blue almost. Still pretty lovely. I'm not going to add any more food coloring in there because I actually really like this color. I think it's pretty. grown-ups, I'll let you know, if you do add too much food coloring in, it will dye your children's hands. Most of it will wash off the hands with soap and water, but it's not like markers. If you get enough on there, it will stick around for a few days. Now, kids, you can do so much experimenting with your magic mud. You can see what happens if you roll it like Play-Doh, or if you put it in toys or buckets, or maybe I can stick it in my scoop and then see if I can pour it out of my scoop into my container. Whoa! Now this is a very fun, very developmentally rich sensory activity. As much as it might just feel like making a mess, making magic mud or oobleck is a very exciting, hands-on way to explore using all of your senses, and it stimulates a ton of development. Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining me making magic mud today. I hope you made just as much of a mess as I did, and I hope you have all kinds of fun playing with it. See you soon.